Welcome to day one of running from home strength training from home for runners. Can tell I'm good at this part, eh? Okay, so my lovely assistant, Miss Orion Goodemo, this is my daughter. She is going to serve as the guinea pig slash running model here today. So today I'm going to go through a program. It should be approximately 30 minutes in length. You can just follow along the repetitions and things like that. She's going to go at the correct speed and pace, and I will give some instructions throughout the video, and I will do my best not to interfere with the enjoyment of the exercise by talking too much. Good luck, everybody, and have a good day. Okay, so we're going to start with foam rolling. Orion's going to sit up on top of the foam roller, cross her right foot over her left knee, and start rolling. So we're going to do foam rolling to both glutes, and she is going to foam roll on her right side for 30 seconds and then her left side for 30 seconds. So the key with this is to not go too fast and not go too slow. And if you find a cranky spot, spend a little extra time on that cranky spot. Good. And now you're going to switch and go to the other side. So from the video point of view, you can't see the exact technique, which is fine. It's looking just like the other side. And she's using her arms to help support herself. And then again, the methodical rolling back and forth for a total of 30 seconds per muscle group. Finding a cranky spot, and you can spend a little extra time on that cranky spot. The intention behind foam rolling is to warm up the muscle before exercise. Okay, Orion, you're going to sit butt on the carpet, and we're going to do the hamstrings. So she's going to foam roll one leg at a time here, and the purpose behind this is to get all the way from the gluteus muscle, the butt bone, or where your sit bone is, all the way down to the back of the knee. And after 10-15 seconds, then she's going to turn her toe out, and that will get some more of the outer part of that hamstring and just underneath the IT band. And then she's going to turn her toe in and foam roll a little bit on the inner part. Good, and then we'll switch legs. Same idea, about 10 seconds with her toes straight up. And then she'll turn her toe out to get the outer part of the hamstring and just underneath the IT band. And then turn the toe in, and she'll get the inner part. Good. And now she's going to lay on her stomach, and she's going to foam roll the calf muscle. So she's rolling on the front of her thigh, on that left thigh, and she's using her right leg and her arms to help support her. And now turn your toe in a little bit. So she's turning the left toe in to get a little bit of that, and then she's going to turn her left toe out to get a little bit of the thigh there. I will tell you that she worked out yesterday and her muscles are sore, so she's not really happy about doing this right now. Okay, switch legs. So she's going to go to the other side. This will be a better view for you to see. And she's going all the way from the hip pelvis bone all the way down to the top of her knee, but not over the kneecap. And again, spending about 10 seconds rolling just straight ahead. And now I'll have you turn your toe out. That gets more of the inner thigh, still the quadricep, so still the front of the thigh, but more towards the inner part. And then turn it inward, and that will get outer thigh. And then from there, she's going to jump up so her foot comes to the front, and her left foot. And she's going to use that to roll for the IT band. So I'm starting with just 30 seconds in each. Some people like to go a little bit longer, and that is definitely okay. My general rule is a couple minutes per leg. So, okay, Ryan, you're going to sit on the turf and have your calf muscles up on the foam roller. We'll start with both calf muscles here. So she's using her arms to lift herself up and rolling all the way from the back of the knees down to the heel area. You don't have to go all the way on that tendon. Some people's muscles go down a little bit low, so you want to make sure you're going the length of the muscle. And now I'm going to have her turn her toes out. And now she's rolling the outer part of the calf muscles. Good. And now roll your toes in. This is especially important for runners. This is those inner calf muscles where a lot of shin splints come from. Very nice. So before every workout, take about 5 minutes, can be up to 10 minutes to foam roll, and this includes your running. So the next thing we're going to do is a marching drill. So Ryan is going to come across the screen, marching in slow motion. So this is still a movement prep and a warm-up, and this is especially good for running beforehand. A lot of times runners will jump right into fast high knees and things like that. For our purposes here, I'm trying to gradually get the blood flow going, so going to take about 5 to 10 minutes to warm up before we get into strengthening exercises. So her technique is perfect. I'm intentionally wanting her to go at that speed because I want that pause at the top. So what's happening here is when she lifts her knee, she's contracting the abdominal muscles in the front, and the leg that's staying on the ground, she's contracting her glute muscles. The arm coordination is what exactly happens when you run. So it's a reciprocal movement there. Now the next marching drill is a rotation. So she's going to lift her knee, right knee, and turn her right hand across her body. And then she sets it down and then steps and across. She's still trying to have her elbow go in the normal running position so that right arm stays in the running position. She leaned forward a little bit too much, so her torso should stay upright. So it's not a lean forward, it's just a turning like a pivot around. That was much better. So this is an exaggeration of what happens when you run. Your thoracic spine is supposed to rotate. This is also a challenge to people's balance. So oftentimes people have a hard time, not because the movement's difficult, but just the balance on the one foot. And again, runners need to be on one leg doing exercises. The most common mistake I see with people doing strength training is they're doing both legs at the same time. Runners go from one leg to the next, so working on one side is appropriate. The next marching drill is hands behind the neck and the elbows out to the side. This is called the prisoner march. And so this position here is encouraging thoracic extension. Again, runners need thoracic mobility, and the reason is your lungs are underneath your thoracic spine. So if you have a rounded upper back, because most people do, poor postural habits, this is a great way to encourage thoracic extension. Thoracic extension allows the lungs to expand, and this is what we're going for here. We want to encourage thoracic rotation and thoracic extension. Very nice. This next one is a tricky one. So Ryan is going to lift her right knee up and then kick that right foot behind her while she simultaneously reaches forward. Good job. And then finishing with the march again. So it's a march, kick back, march. Now we're working on the hamstring here. So this is a single leg deadlift position. It's also working that balance, and we're still into the march. So we're still getting that sequencing. We're trying to teach motor patterning for running. Her spine is up straight, and when she reaches forward, she's keeping her back straight. It's as though she's been taught how to do this properly. Good job, Ryan. This is a challenge. A lot of people will find this difficult to complete. You find your balance will be a little bit shaky on it. So there's another way to get your hamstrings loosened. People do Frankenstein kicks and things like that, and that's fine. I like this one because it's also a dynamic warm-up for the hamstring as opposed to a ballistic movement with the kicking type of motion. Very nice. Good. So now Ryan is going to lie on the mat. Excuse me. And she is going to do a bridge. With this bridge, she is going to be holding up for 30 seconds. But first things first, let's get her doing the bridge. So she's, oh, come on back down. Hands on the ground. So the first bridge is just lifting up. And what I'm looking for is the shoulders, the hips, and the knees in a straight line. Orion, drive your pelvis up higher. So I don't want an arch in the lower back. I want, bring your belly button back a little bit. That position right there. So when you're doing this at home, you might want to have your, be in front of a mirror so you can check your technique. Okay, come on down. So the first thing is a bridge. I'm going to have her do one more bridge, and we're going to hold it for 30 seconds. If you're finding your hamstrings cramping, it's because you're cheating and you're trying to use your hamstrings, or it's because your feet are too far away. Ryan, put your feet out far for me. So you have your feet too far away. Bring them closer to your butt. And then lift your toes just slightly so you're pressing up through your heels. And go ahead and lift. And that's a good bridge right there. So again, the shoulders, the hip bone, and the knees should be in pretty much a straight line. And if you find the pelvis is going up too far, you're feeling an arch in your lower back, all you have to do is tilt your belly button backwards a little bit. So she's going to hold for a few more seconds. And then down. So at home, go along with the counts here. I got a little timer I'm working on. So now, Ryan, put your hands towards the ceiling and do a bridge. So if you find the bridge to be really easy, this is a harder way to do it. When you put your hands off the mat, then you're relying just on your back, hip, pelvis muscles to lift you up. You don't get your arms to stabilize. It's a subtle little movement, but it's a little bit harder, and you can see a little bit of shaking in her as she's doing it. So 30 seconds is quite a long time, and what you're trying to do during that 30 seconds is maintain without letting your butt sink down at all, and so you keep the pressure through your heels. Again, if you feel it in your hamstrings, your feet are a little too far away, or you're trying to recruit your hamstrings. Okay, Ryan, come on down. That was 35 seconds. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, she's going to do this from this side view, and then we're going to have her face the camera after that. She's going to gently press her back towards the floor, but with this, she's not going to actually exaggerate it. So go ahead and exaggerate it for me. I don't want that kind of abrupt movement. Relax it a little bit. So she's going to gently push backwards, and it's to engage the core muscles, those deep core muscles. And now she's going to bring her right knee out to the side. Good. And then bring it back up. Through this movement, she's going to do 10 repetitions right now on the right side, and then we'll do 10 on the left side. The 10 repetitions, there's no movement in her pelvis. She's bracing, so she's contracting deep core muscles, and she's controlling the movement out, and she's controlling the movement back up. So if you see or feel any movement in your pelvis as you do this, all you have to do is put your hands on your hip bones, and you just feel for the movement, and then in your mind's eye, brace so you don't get any movement in the pelvis there. And after 10 repetitions, she's going to switch and go to the other leg. And Orion, when you switch to the other leg, face the camera so we can see what it looks like from that angle. I wanted to show the side view so you could see how her pelvis is not moving at all. That's exactly how we want it to be done. So now she's going to put her hips on her hip bones, and just to feel what they feel like, gently press back, engage the core, and then bring the left leg out to the side. So you'll notice when she's bringing the left leg out to the side, the right side is not moving either. So a lot of times people will try to start moving the right one with the left one. So we're trying to disassociate the two. And she's going to go as far as she can without letting her body move. There may be a difference right to left. Some people will have an easier time with their weak side doing this because I said that wrong. They'll have an easier time with the weak side, because the strong side is the stability side. So for example, if Orion is stronger on her right side, lifting out to the left may be a bit more challenging, not because of moving the leg, but because of holding the pelvis still. So if you're noticing that you're rocking more with one leg, it means the opposite side is weak. And that usually corresponds with the leg that you're having troubles with, because runners typically have one-legged troubles. After 10, good. So she's going to stand up now, and we're going to do what's called a lateral toe tap. So Ryan is going to stand with her feet about shoulder width apart, stick her butt back slightly, knees bent slightly, and she's going to shift all her body weight to her left leg. Perfect. And now she's going to tap her right foot in and her right foot out. Notice that her body is not moving, just her right leg is moving. So for this, I'm looking for the control. Her left foot is pointing straight ahead. Her knee is in a good angle. The weight is distributed onto that left side, and with control going in and out. So at home, follow along to this speed because her technique is perfect. Don't go fast with this one. I want control. It's not about speed. Good. And we'll switch and do your other side. So in the camera, you guys can notice that she shifts her weight a little bit more on the right side. That's because her weakness is on her right side. So she's shifting out a little bit more because it's harder for her to stay up as compared to the left side. And again, you'll find that if you have a problem side where you have pain like in the right calf muscle, it's because of the right calf muscle is because of the right glute muscle. And that's what she would demonstrate. Go ahead and grab the chair. You can move the yoga mat out of the way as well. So we're going to do a superset here. We're just going to do 2 sets of these exercises. So she's going to bring the chair back in front of the view here, and she has a little weight with her. So this little weight here, at home, all you need is a dumbbell or some form of weight. If you don't have a dumbbell or a kettlebell, take a gallon jug out of the milk jug or water jug, or have something that you're holding on to in your hand. Go ahead and sit down for me. Nope, just sit down and then stand up. So the first exercise is just a squat, chair squat, up and down, and this is called a goblet squat. So she's holding the weight right at her chest. It's not away from her body, it's right at her body. And she's holding the weight. Drop your elbows in towards your side a little bit. Yeah, like that. So she's holding the weight, and then she's just doing a basic chair squat. I like to use the chair because I know that the angle when you're going down is going to be proper, and I know when you sit down in a chair, you're sticking your butt back properly. So after 10 repetitions, we're going to go back to the lateral toe taps, and this time she's going to hold on to the weight and do 10 repetitions. So at home, if you don't have any weight, that's fine, but if you do have a weight, it doesn't even have to be heavy. You just want to have something that you're increasing the load. If you've ever come to any of my workshops, I talk frequently about how important it is to continue to progress. So today we're going to do 2 sets of these strengthening exercises, and then we're going to add a little bit of weight to it. And as we go, we'll add bands. So if you don't have any bands, then you would want to add weight. If you do have bands, we'll show you next time how to use those bands. So after 10 repetitions of the lateral toe tap, we're going to go back to the chair squat. But this time with the chair squat, we're going to do a staggered stance. So again, notice how her body's not moving at all. She's able to maintain that control, and it's a deliberate movement with that left foot in and the left foot out. Go back to the chair, and I'm going to have her sit down in the chair. So now she's going to put her right foot forward slightly, good, and then stand up. So this is a staggered stance chair squat, and because she's holding on the weight, it's a goblet squat. So it's a staggered stance goblet squat to the height of a chair. She's going to do 10 repetitions. By doing a staggered stance, and we'll show you from a side view for the next round, what that does is it increases the weight through the left leg. So her left leg is doing the majority of the work. By keeping the right foot down on the ground, she's able to maintain balance. And so this is a great way to start to shift the weight instead of doing a traditional squat to start to do a one-legged squat. And her control down is perfect, so it's a nice fluid movement. As soon as her butt touches, she goes up. Let's turn the chair to the side view. And so now she's going to have a staggered stance, and she's putting her left foot forward a little bit more. She's trying to cheat on that one. Good. And go ahead and sit down. So now you see from the side, she's just touching her butt. As soon as she gets down, she's going right back up. So if there's like a pause down there, that's fine, but I don't want you sitting down and actually getting a rest there. Although that is a way to do the exercise that is a little more difficult. But anyway, so for this purpose, we're doing a staggered stance goblet squat and a chair squat. So a chair height, rather. And so after 10 repetitions, we'll move onward and upward. Good. So we'll put the weight down and then move the chair out of the way. So the next thing we're going to do is a three position movement. So you can get rid of the weight for this one. So she's going to stand in front of the camera. She is going to shift her, or stand with the feet about shoulder width apart, and now down into the athletic position. And she's going to touch her right foot out, and then she's going to drive her right knee up as she stands up, and then tap it out again to the side, good, and then around the back to the curtsy squat, good. So each time she's going down into an athletic position, driving her knee up, And she's even got her arm coordination going on. So she's going to do 5 repetitions, and then we'll switch legs. 5 repetitions to each position. So I like to start everybody in that athletic position just so they know where the knee, how bent it should be. The hard part here is that balance part. So when she drives her knee up, to pause and still maintain the balance. Very good. Beautiful. So we'll switch and do the other side. Athletic position, tap out, drive the knee up. Good. Diagonal back. Good. And then around the curtsy. Your diagonal back was a little too far back. Make it more diagonal. Good. Straight to the side. Too much to the side. Good. Your curtsy and the side are good. So I'm trying to look at a particular angle. It's about a 45-degree angle. And part of the reason I'm being annoying about that is because it just works that glute muscle a little bit when you're on that specific angle. A little bit more in that specific angle. So again, if you notice, it's a little bit more wobble on this side because this is her weaker side. Her form is good. The position of the knee bend is good. And if you're having difficulty controlling this, then you shorten up the distance so you don't reach out as far. I say that, but I want you to reach as far as you can with control and be able to have that little pause at the top with balance. So now she's going to go to the outer part of the screen here, and she's going to walk across the screen on her toes. So this is a straight-kneed toe walk. So we're doing this to work the calf muscles as well. So in the end, it's going to be about anywhere from 15 to 20 little steps. And the key with this is to stay high on your toes. If you have problems with your toes that you can't do this, a basic calf raise at the wall is fine. But as soon as you, now do it bent knees, as soon as you shift your weight as you're walking, it loads those muscles. This is called the creeper walk, and this is particularly important for runners. The soleus muscle, which is what she's working, it's a calf muscle. You use it 67% of the weight when you land goes through the soleus muscle. So you use that soleus muscle every single step you take, and doing some strengthening exercises is good for it. So she's going to go back into that sequence. Body weight, good. Shift, tap, drive the knee. Good. So we'll do a round of 5 of these. And when you're doing these, the key is to make your knee travel so it's going towards your big toe and the second toe. So if you notice that your knee is going inward, that's usually a sign of weakness in your glute muscles or lack of control there. I don't actually like saying weakness because usually we're not weak, we just have used to learn other muscles, and we're trying to make you use very specific muscles because they're the ones that have been shown up in research to be problematic for runners or just with injuries in general. So the also connection here is the posterior tibialis, which is a muscle in the arch of your foot, and it goes up along the shin bone to the back of your shin bone, and that muscle is directly connected to your gluteus medius. So a lot of times when people come in and they have a problem up in their hip and butt, I know that muscle in the calf is going to be really sore because it's also weak. So Ryan has her shoes on doing these exercises, but these are all fine to do barefooted. In fact, the next time we do some videos, we'll do it with just bare feet. I'm a huge proponent of getting the foot to touch the ground and getting some sensation back in there to work on some strength of the foot muscles themselves. After 5 repetitions, we're going to do another round of the toe walking. So as we're finishing up here, I remember that I forgot to have her do 2 sets of the bridges and 2 sets of the knee out to the side. So I'm sorry, we'll have to wait for the next video to do that. So it turns out today's exercise time is going to be 25 minutes. So the exercises will obviously be at least 25 minutes. Thank you, Orion, for your participation. I plan they may be in the 25 to 35 minute range. The program is going to progress every session. So the next time we do the video, we'll be doing the exact same exercises, but I'll be showing you how to make them more difficult. And the reason I'm doing that is for some people, these exercises weren't enough, and I realize that. But for other people, they'll find quite a challenge from doing them, especially when it comes to balance-related things. So every single session, there'll be a progression of some sort. Some exercises won't progress session to session, but we will progress them as the program goes on, and we'll continue to make these things more challenging and more dynamic and more fun. So if you have any questions, our little website is on that thing right behind me here, or in front of me, sorry. physiofitpt@gmail.com is my email. physiofitpt.com is the website. We are doing virtual therapy right now, so if anybody has any specific questions about aches and pains, you're welcome to sign on to that. Otherwise, these videos will be coming out 3 times a week for the next 4 weeks. This was also part of the initial program I had planned for working out in the gym. In the gym, the programs would be longer than 30 minutes, and we may be progressing the same way here, depending on how long we're all quarantined and not allowed to go out into gyms. But in the meantime, this is the beginning. And the other thing I wanted to say is we do have bands at our office. So if you need bands to progress exercise at home, just email me or call that number there, 518-306-1225. Let me know, and I will mail them to you so you have them for home. Otherwise, thank you very much. And if you have any questions, give me a call. Bye-bye.